Welcome. For this meditation, I want to read to you a book, Who Am I? By Ramana, Maharshi. And I don't like to follow gurus. I don't even really follow my yoga teachers or what they do. I take what I've learned and what has stuck with me the most from all the different teachers I've had, and I combine it into what I offer. But if I was ever to have a guru, it would be Ramana Maharshi, because he tells you to be your own guru. So I'm going to read this book to you. Find a comfortable asana, whatever that looks like for you. Make sure your back is straight, chest is poked out, and chin is lowered towards your chest. Who am I? Is the title given to a set of questions and answers bearing on self-inquiry. The questions were put to Bhagavan Sri Ramana Maharshi by Sri M. Sivapraksam Pillai about the year 1902. Sri Pillai, a graduate in philosophy, was at the time employed in the Revenue Department of the South Arcot Collectorate. During his visit to Tiruvannamalai in 1902 on official work, he went to Virupaksha Cave on Arunachala Hill and met the Maharshi there. He sought from him spiritual guidance and solicited answers to questions relating to self-inquiry. As Bhagavan was not talking then, not because of any vow he had taken, but because he did not have the inclination to talk, he answered questions put to him by writing. As recollected and recorded by Sri Sivapraksam Pillai, there were 13 questions and answers to them given by Bhagavan. Who Am I? Has been published several times subsequently. We find 13 questions and answers in some editions and 28 in others. Along with self-inquiry, Who Am I? Constitutes the first set of instructions in the Master's own words. These two are the only prose pieces among Bhagavan's works. They clearly set forth the central teaching that the direct path to liberation is self-inquiry. The I thought is the first to arise in the mind. When the inquiry, who am I, is persistently pursued, all other thoughts get destroyed. And finally, the I thought itself vanishes, leaving the supreme non-dual self alone. The false identification of the self with the phenomena of non-self, such as the body and the mind, thus ends. And there is illumination, sakshatkara, the process of inquiry. Of course, is not an easy one. As one inquires, who am I? Other thoughts will arise. But as these arise, one should not yield to them by following them. On the contrary, one should ask, to whom do they arise? In order to do this, one has to be extremely vigilant. Through constant inquiry, one should make the mind stay in its source, without allowing it to wander away and get lost in the mazes of thought created by itself. All other disciplines, such as breath control and meditation on the forms of God, should be regarded as auxiliary practices. They are useful so far as they help the mind to become quiescent and one-pointed. For the mind that has gained skill in concentration, self-inquiry becomes comparatively easy. It is by ceaseless inquiry that the thoughts are destroyed and the self realized. The plenary reality in which there is not even the I thought, the experience which is referred to as silence. If your attention has been brought away from my voice, bring your attention back to your breath. Breathe deeply. This, in substance, is Bhagavan Sri Ramana Maharshi's teachings in Who Am I? Who am I? All living beings desire to be happy always, without any misery. In everyone there is observed supreme love for oneself, and happiness alone is the cause of love. In order, therefore, to gain that happiness which is one's nature, and which is experienced in the state of deep sleep, where there is no mind, one should know oneself. To achieve this, the path of knowledge, the inquiry in the form of who am I, is the principal means. The gross body, which is composed of the 7 humors, I am not. The 5 cognitive sense organs, the senses of hearing, touch, sight, taste, and smell, which apprehend their respective objects, sound, touch, color, taste, and odor, I am not. The 5 cognitive sense organs, the organs of speech, locomotion, grasping, excretion, and procreation, which have as their respective functions speaking, moving, grasping, excreting, and enjoying, I am not. The 5 vital airs, prana, etc., which perform respectively the 5 functions of in, breathing, etc., I am not. Even the mind which thinks, I am not. The nescience, too, which is endowed only with the residual impressions of objects, and in which there are no objects and no functionings, I am not. If I am none of these, then who am I? After negating all of the above mentioned as not this, that awareness which alone remains that I am. What is the nature of awareness? The nature of awareness is existence, consciousness, bliss. When will the realization of the self be gained? When the world, which is what is seen, has been removed, there will be realization of the self, which is the seer. So what that means is that when the world, which is what is seen, has been removed, that means when your perception of the world changes, there will be realization of the self, which is the seer. In layman's terms, that means when your perception of the world changes, your realization of yourself will also change, and you will be able to see much more. Will there not be realization of the self even while the world is there, taken as real? There will not be. What this means is that you will not realize the self while you realize the world as it is. You need to open your mind really, really far to realize that you are not the body. But once you do, you understand a freedom that cannot be taken away from you. Why is this so? The seer and the object seen are like the rope and the snake. Just as the knowledge of the rope, which is the substratum, will not arise unless the false knowledge of the illusory serpent goes, so the realization of the self, which is the substratum, will not be gained unless the belief that the world is real is removed. When will the world, which is the object seen, be removed? When the mind, which is the cause of all cognition and of all actions, becomes quiescent, the world will disappear. What is the nature of the mind? What is called mind is a wondrous power residing in the self. It causes all thoughts to arise. Apart from thoughts, there is no such thing as mind. Therefore, thought is the nature of mind. Apart from thoughts, there is no independent entity called the world. In deep sleep, there are no thoughts, and there is no world. In the states of waking and dream, there are thoughts, and there is a world also. Just as the spider emits a thread out of itself and again withdraws it into itself, likewise the mind projects the world out of itself and again resolves it into itself. When the mind comes out of the self, the world appears. Therefore, when the world appears to be real, the self does not appear. And when the self appears, the world does not appear. When one persistently inquires into the nature of the mind will end leaving the self. What is referred to as the self is the Atman. The mind always exists only in dependence on something gross. It cannot stay alone. It is the mind that is called the subtle body or the soul. What is the path of inquiry for understanding the nature of the mind? That which rises as I in this body is the mind. If one inquires as to where in the body the thought I rises first, one would discover that it rises in the heart. That is the place of the mind's origin. Even if one thinks constantly, I, one will be led to that place. Of all the thoughts that arise in the mind, the I thought is the first. It is only after the rise of this that the other thoughts arise. It is after the appearance of the first personal pronoun that the second and third personal pronouns appear. Without the first personal pronoun, there will not be the second and the third. How will the mind become quiescent? By the inquiry, who am I? The thought, who am I, will destroy all other thoughts. And like the stick used for stirring the burning pyre, it will itself in the end get destroyed. Then there will arise self-realization. You may open your eyes whenever you feel to. Just notice what's there for you in your body. Notice what's there for you in the mind. I'm going to read you the last question and answer. What is liberation? Inquiring into the nature of one's self that is in bondage, and realizing one's true nature is liberation. So being liberated is nothing more than knowing that you already are liberated, regardless of your situation in life. Please go about the rest of your day as quietly as possible. Try not to move quickly for the next half hour. Hope you enjoyed that meditation. If you'd like to see more of Ramana Maharshi, just look up Ramana Maharshi on Google or YouTube. There's tons of Ramana Maharshi lectures and teachings from other people on YouTube. He has been one of the most valuable spiritual teachers I've had on my path, and he's not even alive. So I think that says a lot about him. If you'd like to check out more of my meditations, scroll through my profile, check them out. I will be releasing a meditation program very soon. and a website to go along with that. Thank you for joining me, and thank you for meditating with me.